free love on the free love freeway. The love is free and the freeway's long. I got some hot love on the hot love highway. Going home cause my baby's gone. She's gone. She's not dead.
Sorry.
Oh, Ricky, you're so fine, you're so fine. You blow our minds. Guys, I'll tell you what we're here to do today.
We're talking about Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais. And why are we talking about Ricky Gervais, yeah?
Well, Afterlife Series 3 is out tomorrow. Or today, depending on when you're watching this, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
Or yesterday, I don't know.
Could have been out for a year. Who knows? But yeah, Afterlife Season 3 is out. We're extremely excited about it. And we thought we'd just do a quick show in homage to one of Britain's comedy greats and one of the world's comedy greats, Ricky Gervais. He's one of my comedy heroes. Probably my top two, him and Billy Connolly.
Right, wow.
My top two comedy heroes, probably. And yeah, I just love the guy.
When he burst onto the scene 20 years ago.
Long time, yeah. Long time, Rick.
I know, when I was looking back, I was like 20... Because it was like 2001 when The Office came out. We'll talk a little bit about that. And you think, oh, it was about 5 years ago, that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
feels
keep thinking about that. And in fact, Ricky himself is 60.
Is he?
Yeah.
He looks incredible for 60.
I just think people are getting younger nowadays, though, when you get old. Yeah. When I was a kid, 60, that was it. You were on your pension and you were off, weren't you?
I remember first seeing him on the 11 o'clock show years and years ago. I saw him on there when he was a kind of a social raconteur, if you will. And you could see from the off that he was a very clever, witty guy. And then obviously, like you say, you mentioned The Office. That was his breakout, wasn't it? Playing the role of David Brent, co-creator with Stephen Merchant as well. And it was just, I think for me, it changed the landscape of comedy. How should we do this? So we're going to do I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a top 10 of our favourite scenes. So we both picked 5 each, and we haven't put a massive research and thought into it, have we? We've just gone, what are the first 5 things that I think of that I love about Ricky Gervais? And then we'll kind of wax lyrical on those things. Eh?
Yeah, and I couldn't put them in any order. They were just 5 of my favourites. They're not in any order. Are they?
No.
So I put the first one that sprung to mind was The Office. That kind of breakthrough, and the episode that I love is the training one.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
Because I mean, I'm from the corporate world, and I've been in countless training sessions like that. And that guy just comes, and I feel so sorry for him all the way through. Like, Brent just takes over every opportunity, just wants to show. And then it's that. I mean, we did a little bit of Free Love on the Free Love Freeway.
We did, yeah.
And that kind of spawned that, didn't he? Where he was like, I'm going to really take over here and go and get the guitar.
I only play songs I've written myself. So.
You went home to get it.
Free love on the free love freeway. The love is free and the freeway's long. I got some hot love on the hot love highway. Going home cause my baby's gone, she's gone, yeah.
What an amazing scene. I saw one of the comments on when I was looking at this scene and looking at it again. One of the comments on YouTube was, someone had put, "This is the best episode of any UK sitcom ever."
Wow.
What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot up there, but I would not fervently disagree, because I think it is fantastic.
It is, isn't it? It's genius.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do then, so rather than this being an encyclopedic sort of deep dive into The Office and all these kind of things, we'll just jump from thing to thing, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
Because the first thing I thought of when I thought about what things I like about Ricky Gervais is I thought of Extras. Now, if you've not seen Extras, it's a show where Ricky Gervais plays an extra on a film set who wants to be a writer, he wants to be something more than an extra, and it sort of follows his journey through the sets of TV shows and movies and whatnot. So the first one I think of is episode 2 in the first season with Ross Kemp, when he's playing up to that sort of hard man image that he's got, and he's talking to Ricky Gervais about the SAS. It absolutely cracked me up and it had me in bits. So let's just take a quick look at it now.
I've talked to actual SAS people, and they've told me what it stands for.
What does it stand for then?
Super Army Soldiers.
Are you sure?
So there you go, Gav. What do you think of Extras?
Oh, I love it. And it's just that journey as well. I think it's one of the best arcs I think he's got.
Yeah.
because one of my favourite bits is when he kind of gets his sitcom going, doesn't he? And then it's like it falls apart because it's like the lowest common denominator. It's just like catchphrases. And I love the one where actually when Keith Chegwin's in it and he's trying to direct him. Because the director's like, yeah, fine. It's like, no, actually, we talk about a scene where his sister's died at a funeral. And he just can't get it. And then he gets so confused. He's like, yeah. And also I get confused because my name's actually Keith. Do you want to be called Keith in this? Because he gets so annoyed, doesn't he?
And I love the scene where they're in the... And there's some outtakes of it as well, where they're talking about the knobs going in the fannies.
Men have knobs. Women have fannies. Pop knob in fanny.
And you can see Ricky Gervais kind of on the edge of losing it all the time. And that's something I love about Ricky as well, right? And I think this is what makes his shows so good, is that the actors always seem really comfortable. Yeah. They always see... He works with people repeatedly on different shows all the time. He always has the same cast members. And I think it's because they have such a good time. Yeah. And I think the secret is that obviously actors are always worried about corpsing and laughing through a take. But no one does it more than Ricky Gervais. So it's like everyone else feels comfortable because they know Ricky's going to do it the most anyway. Yeah. So it's like, it seems like a really relaxed and fun set to me all the time. So I love that. Yeah.
And then, well, so we touched a little bit on his early TV stuff. I want to just say very quickly about his stand-up as well, because I think he's had some absolutely fantastic stand-ups.
Yeah.
And I'm going to capture in that the Golden Globes presenting as well, because it's all a kind of the same thing, isn't it? And
he's brutal, isn't he?
The world got to see James Corden as a fat pussy. He was also in the movie Cats, but no one saw that. I saw one that said, this is the worst thing to happen to cats since dogs, right?
Going back to what I said about corpsing, one of the things I love the most, and if you're ever feeling down, right, guys, trust me on this, one of Gervais's programmes, another fine piece of work, is Derek.
Yeah.
Where he plays a guy who is, how would you term Derek? Is he autistic?
I think he is autistic.
He's a bit autistic. He's got some special needs, and he works in a care home. He volunteers in a care home, and it's all about the characters within this care home. And Derek's is just, it's so sweet. It's such a lovely, heartwarming show with more hilarity in it, like we've come to expect from Ricky, isn't it? You know. And anyway, the thing I love the most about it, and if you're ever feeling down and you want to cheer yourself up, just put on the outtakes from Derek, because like I said, Ricky Gervais, when he corpses, I mean, his laugh for one, it's like he's sucked up some sort of 1940s air raid siren, and he just goes, wah, and like brings it out, and it's just this massive noise. And just look at these outtakes from Derek. It's him, David Earl as the character of Kev, and they make me laugh every single time. Check them out.
That's where he sleeps. And last Tuesday I got Janice here. I always have to get her into the caravan in a certain way so the business end is facing the door. I haven't got a chance any other way, so I open the door, and normally her arsehole's blinking at me. If she was to reverse it, I wouldn't have a bloody chance. So I always like to do it that way and make sure her arsehole was winking at me as soon as I come onto the doormat.
Well, I want to talk about something which is not massively famous in terms of when you think about Ricky Gervais, but he did some kind of web shorts, Learn English with Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
And he got his mate Carl Pilkington, which we're going to talk about a little bit in this segment. But the bit that cracks me up, and if we can find it, I'll stick it on here, is the back, sack and crack waxing. And it's just one of those moments where Carl Pilkington just absolutely cracks up himself, and you don't see that much. But I love it. Check this out.
I would like my back waxed, my crack waxed, and my sack waxed.
Right.
Do you do the treatments yourself?
No.
I'd like you to.
You can't request who's doing your sack, your crack, or your back. There's a woman in the back who does your crack.
Well,
This is fucking insane. Right, that's enough of it.
No,
I don't know what we're doing. I don't know who's going to learn anything from this.
Wait.
The great Carl Pilkington there. And it brings me into my other favourite thing that Ricky's ever done, which was the podcasts, the audio books with Carl Pilkington. I've got a real sentimental attachment to him because when I used to live in London and I used to travel back up to North Wales all the time, and they were the thing that kind of kept me entertained on long train journeys and things like that. And they gave me so much laughter and joy. And it's hard to pick like a favourite bit of one of them because they're just hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of comedy gold. But if I had to sort of think of the first things that sort of fired into my head, I'd say Carl's Diary. He's only going to write it down. Monkey News.
Monkey News.
I love Monkey News. I mean, let's have a listen to a few.
They always say when you get someone a present, you should buy them something they wouldn't buy themselves. Daft rule. I want something I would buy myself if I had the money. When I was young, me Auntie Nora got me a present I wouldn't buy myself. It was a T-shirt with her face on. Got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington. I don't know why that's so funny. Oh, God.
So we've covered a lot of the comedy elements. And we said at the start of the show that we're going to look about how his writing has kind of evolved. And the one point I was kind of alluding to was the Christmas special at Series 2 of The Office.
Yeah.
Where they have that kind of Christmas party at the end. David's left Wernham Hogg. Neil from Swindon has kind of come in and taken over. Yeah. And Brent almost wanted to be one of the lads all the way through.
Yeah, always.
And I know it's one bit that you like. So it's like a couple of scenes where, one, he's brought a date, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And then she kind of goes, and then he has been bringing his dog into the office, and they're like, oh, where's your dog? And then Chris Finch goes, oh, didn't you see her? She's already left. And he just looks at him and goes,
Chris, why don't you fuck off?
But the bit I really like in terms of that kind of pulling on your heartstrings is right at the end when Dawn comes back.
Oh, man.
And you've been rooting for him all the way through.
Amazing. She
went to America, but then came back. And she just grabs him, doesn't she? And she gives him a kiss and kind of leads him away. But if you look at Gervais, he kind of looks back at them and he kind of looks down at the floor. And I think at that moment, he's like, I did that. And I know how much it's going to mean to the viewers.
I can't operate on that boy. Because he's my son. The doctor's telling the truth as well.
Is he a man old? Careful, she's got a fiancé.
Not anymore.
One of the things I love, and you touched on it there, Guy, where you talk about him telling Finchy to fuck off. I love that scene because I love an underdog, if you want to call Brent that. We're rooting for him secretly, aren't we? Always, and it happens again in David Brent Life on the Road, where it's a feature-length film that's done after the documentary is aired and all that kind of thing, and David Brent has become a sort of Z-list celebrity, isn't he? Yeah. And now he's going to take himself on the road with a band and try and have a crack at a music career. It doesn't go to plan, it's safe to say, isn't it? And at the end, there's another Finchy kind of character. David Brent's working now selling like sanitization products or something, isn't he? Like,
can I just ask you, who does your tampons?
He's selling tampons. I thought you could ask me something serious then. So he works for this company selling tampons and whatnot, and there's another salesman, a very Finchy-esque guy, isn't it? And he's taking the piss out of him at the end of the film because his music career's not kicked off. It's not been a success at all. And then, I can't remember her name, the love interest.
Pauline, is it?
Pauline. And then Pauline comes in and she sets this salesman straight, doesn't she? Chucks a glass in his water in his face and then says to David, I think you were great.
They can laugh. They're no better than me. Just because they're reps who like being reps and I'm a rep who wants to be something else. With that attitude, they'll be reps for the rest of their life. I might be a rep for the rest of my life, but I was a rock star once.
Useless prick now, though, aren't you?
What are you good at, eh? Nothing.
What you doing? What are you doing?
Not bad. I thought you was great.
At what?
came to see you play last week.
Oh, right. I didn't see you.
And I just snuck in. I didn't want to put you off.
Oh, cheers.
There's no one does that like Ricky Gervais for me. There's no one sort of tugs on your heartstrings like that. And I think what it is for me, right, is that I associate him with so much joy and so much laughter that when he does something sad, and we'll get to this again in a minute when we talk about Afterlife, when he does something where he's sad or you can see he's affected or hurting or whatever, I feel it 10 times more because I associate the guy with so much joy that when I see him sad, it makes me feel like intensely sad. It's like, no, you're Ricky Gervais. This is just, you're always funny. It's always fun.
I want to tell you about the one that always makes me cry.
Go on.
I researched it again, and I know what's going to happen. Every time I watch it is I cry. It's for me, and we'll talk about Afterlife, because that is, like you say, a very poignant and heartfelt series. But in Extras, I think it's the special, or it's certainly the last episode in Extras, where he goes into Big Brother. He's like rock bottom, and in there's like Chico and Lionel Blair. And it kind of just dawns on him where his life ended up. He was chasing this fame, and he didn't get it. It's almost like a comment on fame at that point, and and where it is now. I mean, where people are chasing fame on TikTok and stuff like that, and they're doing some stuff, and you think, well,
YouTube,
doing stuff on YouTube, and he's sitting there and he's talking to the group, but he's only talking to one person, and that's Maggie, really.
Oh, yes, friend.
Because she's asking him silly questions, and he's like going. At one time, she asked me a question: "Do you want to be a penguin or a flying fish?" And I should have answered it there, and he's like choking up, going, "I'll answer it now," and I'm getting a bit emotional. And it's like, oh my God. And like I say, every time I watch it, I cry without fail. I think it's the best thing he's done in terms of that writing. From a comedy thing to just to switch it like that. Because you're not expecting it. And it's like, powerful stuff, really powerful for me.
While you're on that then, in terms of that switch from comedy, or you say he goes from comedy to poignant, my favourite thing should we move on to Afterlife? Is how he goes from poignant to comedy. And it's the scene, and again, it's one that always makes me cry, where he's with his dad, played by the incredible David Bradley. And his dad has got dementia. He doesn't recognise him really, but he goes to see him. The character of Tony goes to see his dad every single day in the care home. And he sat with him, and they just sort of talking, and then Ricky Gervais says, "How do you know me?" And then this incredible bit of acting from David Bradley. He turns and looks at him, and it's like he has this revelatory sort of realization. He goes, "You're my boy."
Yeah.
And you can, and then it's just this brilliant sequence of acting from the both of them, where David Bradley plays this man with dementia so well, and Ricky Gervais kind of, you can see the turn in his face. You can see, oh my God, I've been waiting for this for so long. Like his dad has finally recognised him, and then he starts talking about how he wrote on the wallpaper.
Yeah.
And let's just have a look at this scene.
How do you know me?
Well, you come here sometimes.
Yeah, I come here sometimes.
You're my boy. You drew on the wallpaper, didn't you?
I did, yeah. When I was 7. You remember
that? Your mum's furious.
She was.
Don't worry about it. Got a spare roll down the shed. I'll do it tomorrow.
You did it already, Dad. You did it the next day.
Yeah. I'll do it tomorrow.
I love you, Dad.
Gay.
It's such a powerful show, and it just, to me, like we already said, like I think Ricky Gervais, he's just a good bloke. He's a good human being, and I think he understands human beings, doesn't he? And I think you can see that in Afterlife with the different relationships that Tony has with the different sort of collection of characters.
And a lot of them, I would say, are almost misfits in society.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't normally associate them if you were in that position a lot of the time. Even like the postman, played by Joe Wilkinson, it's like a lot of the time you just go, well, thanks for me post, and away you go. But he kind of has that connection, and all the way down to a lot of those people where he grows out, and by making those connections, I think his character grows as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about people. It's about a human connection, like you say. With Ricky as well, what I love about his shows and about his writing, and it's particularly in Afterlife, is that I think he lives out some of his own fantasies in the character.
Yeah.
Like, I think he'd love to call someone, a fat nosy bastard or whatever he calls that guy. I think he'd love to do that, but he can't because Ricky Gervais is famous. He'd be in the papers, wouldn't he, the next day? So I think he lives vicariously through Tony a bit. And he has said this, that it's sort of like role play for the soul. In that he gets his characters to do things that he can't do. And I think that's where a lot of the comedy is there, isn't it? Like what he says to the kid in the playground and all that kind of thing, It's just a great show. It's just so well done. It's well shot as well. I think we've not mentioned how good he is as a director. It's so well shot. It looks gorgeous, doesn't it? It's like proper quintessentially sunny Britain.
I know, I keep on thinking of it, because when we filmed, it's always pissed down, isn't it? I don't know if it's because we're in Wales.
We never get any sun.
I know, but it looks fantastic, doesn't it? You must get like 3-week block of going, right, sort me out here, God, because I brought joy to the nation, help me out here.
I think it's genuinely one of the best things I've ever seen on TV. It's so important, like you say, in highlighting the grieving process, and it's so raw, it's so brutally honest, and it's beautiful in a way. It's a hard watch, and a lot of people, I think, mental health is so important to talk about, and this show's been amazing for that. Amazing. I think it's inspired and saved a lot of people. And you've got to give him credit for it, and it's the writing that does it.
I want to say this as well as a big takeaway. That is kind of something I've learned from it as well, watching it. Make sure you're putting your post in a post box, not a dog shit bin.
It's always important, isn't it? Let us know your favourite Ricky Gervais moments in the comments. And please get in touch with us across all of these social media channels.
That's it. Hit that subscribe button, please. And we'll see you soon.